Okay, here we have Dave McClure. We're at the Web 2.0 Expo in San Francisco, right outside of the Blogtropolis Blogger Lounge.
Blogtropolis Blogger Lounge.
It's the place to be, or at least it was about an hour ago, right?
If you're a blogger, you should be here.
We should be. So Dave, you are an entrepreneur. You're with 500 Hats. You're an investor.
500 Hats?
Yes. Yeah, you can take that off so we can see your good mug there. Okay, so I'm curious if what you can tell me about this conference we're at that you're so actively involved with, Web 2.0 Expo, how you got involved and all that.
I got involved, I used to do some work with O'Reilly when I was at PayPal and also at Simply Hired, and got to know them very well and really enjoyed the group. And then a few years back started doing some events with them. And last year helped them get Web 2 Expo off the ground, and this year I'm doing it again. And I guess it sort of grew out of John Battelle and Tim's Web 2 Summit, which used to be the Web 2.0 conference. And that was a more exclusive sort of CXO level event, a lot of fireside chats that John and Tim used to do with people. But there's so much demand for that event, and the tickets were a lot more expensive. We decided to create an event that was more accessible to a larger group of people, and actually people doing really interesting Web 2.0 work in the field. So we created an event that was for developers, for designers, for web operations and infrastructure people, for business and marketing folk. And really about all the different parts of sort of Web 2.0, again, coding, design, infrastructure, marketing, business strategy. Really tried to put that all in one place so that those people could learn and meet each other.
Really covers the gamut.
We tried to, yes. We don't have the basket weaving underwater part of it, but pretty much everything else we got covered.
Well, it's certainly an impressive conference, and
thank you.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been, and it's really awesome. I really appreciate it.
I'm sure we don't have everything just right yet, but we try and improve every year.
So there's a couple of sessions that we happen to both be in at the same time. I'm going to ask you about. First, sure. I'm very curious about all these Web 2.0 pirates running around using the R acronym.
Sure, that is...
Where did that come about?
That came from my workshop with Heaton Shaw and Vanessa Fox. We did Startup Metrics 101, and that actually, I guess about a year ago, I started doing a talk on a 5-step model for startups to make better decisions about product and marketing using sort of simple, actionable metrics. Hey, Pete. So that model was based on acquisition, activation, retention, referral, and revenue. And the acronym for that is AARRR, or R. And so I decided to try and get a pirate mnemonic for people to remember that and make it easy to remember. Maybe a little bit easy marketing idea there for them to remember as well.
Okay.
But I think one thing that's kind of interesting is I even though we're sort of, San Francisco, Silicon Valley center of a lot of startup action, I think people are still learning the craft, and a lot of that craft is a lot of informed guesswork, I guess I would say. Mm-hmm. And so trying to figure out how to collect metrics that don't overwhelm people but allow them to help iterate more quickly and make better decisions so that they can grow and hopefully either make money or get acquired by larger companies.
Well, it is interesting how a lot of folks are treating some of their marketing sort of like an expression I like to use is throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Right.
But then not doing iterative testing with it.
Right.
They're really throwing everything against the wall.
Yeah.
and not refining. So it was refreshing to see a process, in that session that you gave. I think a lot of folks were impressed and cool. Have something to take away, Well, it's still a work in progress, but I think when you're trying to create something that you want people to use, the great thing about Web 2.0 or the internet is that you have real-time customer feedback, and so being able to see what people are using and clicking on and spending time on and really understanding what they are using and enjoying is, I think, really the unique part about building a Web 2.0 business is you can tell in real time what customers want and use, and if you use that information to build your product, then you can probably find a lot of really great businesses. Sometimes people, startup entrepreneurs who are smart, think they're too smart and try and make those decisions on behalf of customers without letting them, help them figure it out. Exactly. Well, speaking of figuring out, a lot of people are still trying to figure out Facebook, and there was the marketing with Facebook best practices session earlier this morning.
Jeremiah Aoyang from Forrester Research led that session.
Yeah, that was great. It was very, very insightful. There are a couple of things that I heard that were interesting. Obviously, having objectives is pretty smart thing to do.
Sometimes advertisers don't have objectives.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to do it. A million users can't be wrong was kind of interesting. Not using Facebook to send traffic to your website, which was great insight, because a lot of people are trying to use Facebook for that purpose. Actually,
I think some people can be successful in certain ways in kind of creating a more informed, I guess, awareness for their product and brands and websites, but directly trying to convert traffic from Facebook to, retail brand sites may not be as easy as people think it is. It's actually, I won't say it's easy, but it is possible to get lots of users very quickly. In fact, millions of users. I actually helped teach a class with BJ Fogg at Stanford last fall, where many of our students, actually 5 out of the 25 teams, created apps that were reaching over 1 million users.
Wow.
In fact, another 10 teams created apps that were reaching 100,000 users. But in most cases, the people who are on Facebook tend to want to stay on Facebook. It's a very social environment. So those applications and other devices and social media that you're using on Facebook probably are more effective when they remain in that environment and use communication tools and techniques that are more native and familiar to people in Facebook or other social environments like MySpace as well.
Okay, well, super. Well, you're active with a number of conferences, certainly.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you could give people watching this any advice on how to get more out of conferences.
How to get more out of conferences. This is actually a really interesting conversation that we've been trying to have in kind of calling Conference 2.0, which is how to use some of the tools, Web 2.0 tools, to help make the conversation better for people. So using tools like Twitter or like Meebo, or making sure that we tag and watch media that's related to the conference. And I guess, try and involve the audience both before, during, and after an event in making that event better. So soliciting and crowdsourcing questions from the audience before you put together panels and talks, so you know what they want to hear about during the conference, like listening to the back channel or the tweetosphere and other tools to find out what people are enjoying or not enjoying, and adjusting the conversation if you can. That's a little bit challenging on the fly, and I think we're still, both as conference organizers and as speakers and panelists, trying to figure out how to use those tools. People in the audience definitely are starting to use those tools.
Yeah, that was the microblogging session was great.
Right. So that was actually fun.
Yeah, it was. So I didn't explain why you dress like this all the time.
No, actually, usually I dress pretty much exclusively in jeans and flip-flops and mostly T-shirts from like tech companies. So this is very unusual, but. I'm actually going to a PayPal reunion party tonight.
Okay,
and,
PayPal.
Many of the upper echelon of PayPal, not myself, who are quite successful, have been nicknamed the PayPal Mafia.
Okay, so there we go.
So there is a PayPal Gangsta Fabulous Mafia party later tonight. And those of us who are lower level henchmen, try to look our best.
Okay, great.
So that is why although the hat theme actually fits with my overall 500 hats
of course
business, although I'm not adept at wearing this one, as you can tell. But
okay, well, great. I think appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Lee.